So, what if a startup told you it was a unicorn before it even launched? I mean, that's just not how it works, right? A company hitting a billion-dollar valuation usually takes years. Well, we're going to unpack the story of a Vienna-based company that's claiming it from day one. Let's see if the pitch holds up.
And get this, I did not make that title up. This is a direct quote from their own paperwork. They're not just a unicorn. They are, in their own words, a unique, true unicorn. I mean, wow. The confidence is just off the charts. And when you hear a claim that big, it really forces you to ask one major question.
Okay, so what is this billion-dollar idea? What could they possibly be building that they think is so revolutionary it just breaks all the rules? Let's get into the details of what OTTIMEDIA is all about. All right, so to start, we really need to understand what OTT media actually is and the massive market they're trying to completely take over. So they're in the world of what's called out-of-home advertising. Think billboards, ads at bus stops, that kind of thing. But they're planning on doing it with a massive, high-tech twist. Their ambition isn't just to get a piece of the pie. Their goal is to completely dominate it, to be the world-leading entity. So how are they going to do that? Well, their whole concept is built around turning one of the biggest problems in modern real estate into a huge asset. They've zeroed in on this massive opportunity that's come from the rise of remote work. All these huge, expensive office buildings in our city centers, well, a lot of them are half empty now. And that means property owners are just bleeding cash. And here's where OTTIMEDIA's solution comes in. They want to turn those empty building faces into absolute cash cows. The plan is to transform a simple brick and glass wall into a prime piece of digital real estate. Basically, a massive, impossible-to-ignore canvas for ads. And the number they're dangling in front of building owners is pretty hard to ignore. Up to $1 million in rental income per facade. Per year. Yeah, that's a serious incentive to sign on. But what's the tech that even makes this possible? We're definitely not talking about just hanging giant vinyl banners here. The technology they're proposing is a whole lot smarter and way more integrated. They plan to cover these buildings with their own special LED video walls. They claim these things are ultra-thin, have incredible resolution, and, this is the really cool part, they're transparent. So people still working inside can see right out. Just imagine giant, shimmering digital canvases wrapped around the world's tallest buildings. It's not just about the hardware, though. They're also building a whole global online platform where advertisers can easily book their ad space. And, in a pretty unique twist, they say anyone, anywhere in the world will be able to watch these ads run in real time through live streaming cameras. Okay, so we've got the big idea, we've got the futuristic tech, but that unicorn label? It always comes down to the money. And let me tell you, the financial projections they've laid out are truly staggering. So here's a look at how they plan to disrupt the market. They take a prime billboard spot, say in Times Square. A company like Google might pay $24 million a year for that. OTTIMEDIA's proposed rate for an entire building facade, just $200,000 to $500,000. To put it another way, they claim their rates are, and I quote, 120 times extremely lower than their competitors. They aren't just trying to be a cheaper option. They're aiming for a pricing model that's so low, it opens the door for a whole new group of advertisers who could never afford this kind of thing before. And here's where it gets even more ambitious. They project that this entire global operation, installing massive screens on skyscrapers, can be launched with just $6 to $9 million in startup capital. For a global company that's all about hardware, that is a surprisingly small number. Because with that initial investment, they are forecasting global sales between $180 and $900 million in the first year alone. This is all based on them securing just 10 to 30 prime locations worldwide. It's an absolutely exponential leap. And those incredible first-year sales figures, well, they lead directly to this number, a projected company valuation of $2 to $4 billion. And there you have it, the true unicorn startup. It's a valuation that's built on a very specific and absolutely crucial payment model. This right here is a critical part of their plan. Advertisers have to pay for the entire year up front, and they have to do it within 7 days of booking. This strategy is designed to generate an enormous, immediate wave of cash from day one, which is the fuel they need for that explosive growth they're banking on. Now, beyond the tech and the massive numbers, OTTIMEDIA also frames its whole mission around a pretty unique company philosophy. They say their approach is to view the world as a playground and business as a game. This suggests a mindset that's all about creative thinking, maybe a higher tolerance for risk, and a much less traditional approach to the whole corporate world.
And this philosophy is backed up by a set of core principles. It's an interesting mix, actually. You see the high growth ambition you'd expect with phrases like unstoppable growth, right alongside promises of transparency, having a positive global impact, and creating a sustainable future.
So, that's OTTIMEDIA. An audacious claim, a massive vision, and some truly mind-boggling numbers. They see themselves as more than just another startup. They want to be a complete game changer. But it all really comes down to one question, doesn't it? Can a bold vision and a disruptive business model on paper actually translate into a real-world, multi-billion-dollar company? Now that is the ultimate billion-dollar question. Thanks for joining this explainer.